Hi guys, it's Ray with Ray's Turquoise Turtle. Today I am going to pour on these two TV trays. These are new ones I bought. These are a gift. I've got to scooch this one a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a quick clear coat on both of them. So I'm going to start with that. And hopefully you'll be able to hear me. I am pouring quite a distance from the phone because these are large pieces. So, and this resin is already getting hot. I just mixed it. So I'm just going to slather it on. I need a little bit more. If you're pouring over the edges, you do want to run the edge with the clear coat. Resin likes to follow resin, and it won't naturally flow where you haven't already put some. So do be aware of that if you're doing any kind of piece where you're requiring the edge to get covered. These were new ones that I purchased for this project. I did sand the top, rough it up, and then just wiped it clean. So if you were using older ones, sand them really well or go ahead and pre-paint them, however you want to do it. These aren't going to get decals or anything special. They're just going to be color. So I am trying to work quite quickly because this resin has a fairly short working time. So, and hopefully this allows me enough still mixed to get my colors in. I don't really want to mix another batch. And I am under some time constraints because I am headed to work. So, just going to try and get it all coated quickly. I will show you what I'm using for color in a minute. I'm going fairly thick with this base coat because I'm going to leave some of the original color on these. So I don't want to have it too thin. I'm just trying to make sure I got the whole edge. Okay, so I'm going to take these gloves off. Now, what I'm using for my colors is colors they're all going to come out of this box of micas from Amazon. I will try to find the link to this one. I know it's still there, but when I try and get the link, it's harder for some reason. So, I have 6 of those I'm going to mix. And I did just get a little resin on my hand from my glove. I'm going to wipe that off quick. I'm going to use the magical green, which will have just a hint of a green sheen, and it will show up more over the brown. A chocolate brown, the tan, the lime, jade, and moss. So I'm going to put some of each of those in a medicine cup. You don't need a ton when you're working with micas. A little bit will go a long ways. So, try and get my baggie open. I am only going to use about that much per color. Tiny bit more maybe, but that's it. That's all you really need when it comes to a mica. So, I just dropped half of them on the floor. I usually do this before I come on, and I just wasn't fully prepared today. So bear with me just a second. Almost done. The chocolate brown is a really shimmery mica, so I think that'll look nice in here. I'm not using as much brown because the whole brown base is going to be somewhat visible anyhow. So and that magical green just kind of looks white at this point, but it should take on a little bit of a green shimmer once it's over the darker color. Okay, so I'm just going to take each of those cups. I know you can't see them because I just don't have any room in the frame right now, and I'm going to pour some of my resin in each one. I'm going to fill these cups fairly full. And I just have a tiny bit left in here. I'm going to get my gloves back on. And I'm going to use a torch and a heat gun on this project, so the torch I'm just going to use quick to pop bubbles, even though they'll work themselves out as I go anyways. And then the heat gun is going to be to move the micas a bit. So I have to go ahead and mix them all. That was that lime. This one I kind of overfilled a little bit, so it's going to be a little bit harder. But this color is kind of cool because it's got an almost brownish undertone to the green, which is why I thought this one would be good for this particular project. And one of the browns. I didn't mix up as much brown because, again, the brown's kind of redundant in this project. So this is that white. Or magical green, as the case might be. This one's the tan, I believe. I believe the other one was the chocolate. The browns are pretty close. They have great shimmer though. And my last green. I think this one's the jade. The last one was the moss. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I can't see the screen at all unless I step up on this stool next to me. So, alright, so I want to leave kind of a track through the middle. I want to make a little room over here to set my cups because I don't want to dump into the cups at all. Whoops. I'll wipe that off in a few minutes. No harm, no foul. I am going to torch these real quick though. Just super quick. Just to pop any bubbles and help it smooth out. And this is repelling a little bit here and in a couple spots, and I may get some of that on this project. So I'm going to try and push some back over that. And look for any other spots that may have done that before I go ahead and get started. I do have a stray glitter, not surprising. So I'm going to start by just running a line. Do an extra line on two of the corners. Hopefully I've got enough. They don't have to match, I just do want them kind of similar. I'm going to go ahead and fill in with one of the browns. That was in here. This is my last green. And it's okay if I get a little stray here and there. Just try not to get a ton straight out. And that right along the edge there. I'm just gonna put a little bit of a shimmer. And I'm going to go in with some of that magical light. Magical green, excuse me. It's not light. You can see how it picked up the green once it hit the darker background. That's what the magical colors do. In case you have a box that has any of those and you were wondering. They only really show their true color on a darker background. And this brown just happens to be dark enough. So I'm going to put a little bit of this extra resin in this green cup again. Mix up some more. Just mixing more of that green. I'm going to go straight down the middle over the top of that. I just need to make sure I have enough resin on here that I get a good movement. And I don't want to waste anything. A little bit more of that lime. So I'm just going to run a couple of thin lines of the lime color. I don't want a ton of the lime. Okay, so that's all I'm going to put down. That should be plenty. It should give it good flow. I'm going to just to not waste this, I'm going to put a little extra in the center of each one. Okay. Take the other glove off. So I am going to real quick hit it with the heat gun, and then I'm going to switch to the torch. I do feel like I'm leaving too much of this brown on the table, so I'm just going to run a little bit of that through here. Okay, and I am just going to take the torch real quick. And again, the torch is just to pop the bubbles. It'll also heat it up a little bit, which will get it moving that much quicker when I go in with the heat gun. So I'm just going to use my handy dandy heat tool and get started. Before I start, I do think there's a hair right there, so I'm just going to grab a pokey tool and I just flip something else up there. And there was, so get whatever that other debris I got when I picked up the hair. Okay, that's all warmed at this point. I think I'm going to attempt to tilt it a little bit and see if I can not lose too much. This would have a lot more movement with the heat gun if I had a true heat gun. I'm still using my trusty little embossing gun, so it's a little bit more challenging. That's a rogue piece of glitter. So I'm going to attempt, let's see if there's any movement to this at all. It's really not, because I think that one's already cooled down far too much. There's not a ton of extra resin on it to move. But that corner that I did last is going to move a little bit for me. So I think I might take one of my sticks and come in and do like a drag. And then maybe hit it with some heat again. Okay, so I'm going to go back in with some more heat, just a little bit. And we'll see what we've got. I'm quite pleased with those. I like the way that gave it a little bit more feathering and blending. And I'm going to call this good. I am going to let them sit overnight. And tomorrow I will come in and just give them a quick clear coat. Just to make sure they're smooth and clean and even. So if you enjoyed this, if you got something out of this, please give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. A little bit different than tumblers, but I do other stuff, and now that the Christmas tumbler rush is over, hopefully I'll be able to get into some other projects more. So, thanks for watching.